Hello, it is like noon on New Year's Day, and yesterday, pretty late, I was like, wait a minute. I said to myself I was going to do TBR videos in 2020, and I haven't done one for January yet, partly because there's a bunch of like annual goals I will be setting that I haven't set yet because I'm always behind. Anyway, the point being, I'm going to walk you guys through my shelves and like what I'm thinking about reading in January 2020, and we're going to call that a TBR, okay?
Okay, so I've taken the liberty of putting a bunch of books out and sorting through and being really honest with myself with the ones that I will not read in January. And I still have too many books on my bed. So I'm going to show you guys to them, talk about my thought process, and then we'll see what at the end of the month I actually end up reading. So here are my stack of books. So I'm starting out with books that I technically have already started reading. So that is these three. I'm currently listening to this one on audiobook, and I'm likely to finish it very soon. I was really trying to finish before the new year, and I just failed that. But this one will definitely be completed in January. I started reading this one on December 30th because I don't know, I'm just that person, and I might DNF it, I might finish it, I might decide it's totally hooey. I don't know, we'll see. But that one is very up in the air. And then this is one that I was supposed to read last year. It has been on my Goodreads TBR for 10 years now, and I don't want things to be on my TBR for 10 years. This particular edition is now due at the library, I think tomorrow or the day after, but I've decided, like, I kind of got at the end of the year sidelined in reading it, but now I really feel like, yes, I should read this. I should read this in January, so it probably will not be this edition because I'll have to return it, but I'll get a new one from the library, and then that will be a thing. Because one of my goals that I haven't quite settled on for the year, but it's going to be page-based, like I want to read maybe 2,000 pages a month, and this will go a good way towards helping with that. Mostly, I want to make a page-based goal because I don't want to be so afraid of these long books as I have been in the past. So that is probably a January read for me. So those are three books that I've technically already started, and one of them I will for sure be finishing in January, one of them I hope to finish in January, and one is a total wild card. Now I am going to look at a category of books, which is book club books for my work book club. So this one has already been chosen and is our like January and February book, and so I will definitely be reading this in January and February, I believe. And then there are two books that are I want to pre-read and potentially propose them as books for the workbook club. So I might pick one up in January, but I'm unlikely to finish it. So the two that I'm most considering picking up in January are this one, which is Weapons of Math Destruction, which is about big data and algorithms and how instead of kind of making the world a more equal place, they can actually increase inequality. So that one has been recommended to me many times, and I might be reading or starting in January. The other one was just recently recommended to me. It's the memo, What Women of Color Need to Know to Secure a Seat at the Table. And this one is someone who was posting excerpts, and I thought it could be useful as someone who works at a workplace that is very white, but that wants to be more diverse and be more inclusive and focus more on issues that maybe we should consider reading this one, but I want to preview it for workbook club. So those are very big maybes, and if anything at all, I'm likely to only start them. One thing complicating January is that there is an unannounced readathon that I'm helping to plan with Rebecca from Why Mermaids that is going to be running starting January 25th, I believe, through February 7th, I think is the date. So I'll have to look them up again. Anyway, we'll have more about that in this month. We will definitely be announcing prompts and stuff around January 14th or 15th, but I am excited for that, and so I know that all of the things I'm talking about now might get thrown out of the window because we're still working on prompts, so I don't totally know yet what I will be reading for those prompts, much less what they will be to tell you guys. But if I get to preview a book for Workbook Club, it will be one of these two. Then I was just trying to think, I know that I'm going to want to read some lovely fluff in January, and so like what are things that'll maybe be quicker or lighter hearted reads alongside all of this. So one of those, I don't know if this really counts as lighthearted, but it is a kind of graphic memoir, and it's Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant by Roz Chast. This has been on my TBR for a while, and it's kind of about family dynamics and has like just a format that I think will be easier to get into, and so I'm thinking I might read this in January, but I'm not sure. I also took a peek at my library holds to see if there was anything I was forgetting, and I have a couple that are in, and one of them is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. That I've had on hold since it was published and it finally came in, so I'll probably read that this month. And then the other one is kind of heavy, so I'll talk about it at the end. Then I happen to have one ARC, even though I don't really get ARCs anymore, but I got this at BookNet Fest. It's The Stars We Steal, Alexa Dunn's sophomore novel, and it is Persuasion in Space, I believe, and there's like kind of a bachelorette type element to it. So this is actually being published in February, so I want to read it in January so I can pass it along. And then this is my last Jane Austen book that I have not read, Northanger Abbey. So as long as we're talking about Persuasion in Space, I might as well finally finish off the Jane Austen oeuvre, her published novels.
Okay, so realistically, in past Januaries, I have read as many as 16 books, and as few as, like, I don't know, 6. And if I want to read more longer books, I'll be reading, like, more slowly, and if I'm reading, I don't know. Anyway, I'm telling myself that of all these books, I'm probably going to read about 5. But the other thing, the last book I want to mention is the one that is also at the library that I still pick up, which is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I've been waiting on the list for this one, and I did not realize I was this close to getting it, or I would have put a delay on the hold. But instead, it's like in transit, which means I can't put a delay on the hold. So I will be reading that in January as well, and then I can turn it in like right at the end of the month. And then, so I'm going to read like 5-ish books and then maybe 3 books for the Readathon, and those will be announced later in the month. But yeah, so those are all the books that I'm currently planning to pick from, and, you know, in my very optimistic way, think that I will get to all of them. We'll see. I think I will at least try all of them during the month, and some of them will just be DNF'd or just will take longer to read. We'll see. But that is my kind of like very informal January TBR. So yeah, bye. Don't worry, I'm not driving. Bye.